So it's now time to go back to work. You've just had your 2 weeks of paternity, potentially a few more days or a few more weeks. And now for the first time, you're going to have to leave your wife and your baby at home. And you're going to have to start getting back into routine and continuing on with your normal life. How is this going to feel? What can you do to prepare for it? The first thing I'd say right off the bat is be very careful about treating work as an escape. Now, I know the past few weeks has been really different. Your routine is completely changed. It's been really emotional. It's been really stressful. There's been a lot of anxiety and also a lot of positivity. Things have completely changed, right? And you're looking forward to going back to that routine, to where you can get away from what's going on in the household and you can be back at your desk with your colleagues and doing the things that you enjoy doing. You enjoy going to work. But I want you to be really careful. I want you to make sure that you don't treat work as an escape. I don't want you to start neglecting your duties at home. And I don't want you hoping just to leave the home, leave your wife and leave your baby so you can be around other people. You need to remember that your wife may have stopped her work also. She may have stopped doing many other things that she was doing before she's given birth now. And her time is completely taken up with the baby. She's at home with the baby. She goes out with the baby. She does everything with the baby. And she doesn't see other people of her age as often anymore. Whereas you are able to freely go and do that when you're going back to work. And you want to be cognizant of that so that when you come home, you're aware that she's just had this long day with a baby that cannot even speak, that cries all the time. Whereas you've been at work, and yes, work may be difficult, but you've been around people that are of your age or that can communicate well. And so you want to make sure that you are coming home with some energy to give her. So my second point is make sure you come home with energy. I know you might have had a long day at work and it's really difficult to then have to go back and then start helping a wife and supporting a baby, but you need to make sure you come back with that energy. Your wife needs to feel like you are not leaving all of your energy at work, that you're reserving some of that energy for her and for the baby. One thing that you can do to make sure that your wife feels like she's still being supported while you're at work is checking in with her. Sending her a couple of text messages, voice notes, calling her on your break, and just checking if everything's going okay with her at home and everything's going okay with the baby. Now, what's really important is that whilst you're going back to work and your wife is at home with the baby, you start to encourage her to also get out of the house so that she can feel like she's back in a certain routine. A lot of mums at this time, they feel like they have just completely retired now. They're off work, they're off whatever else that they were doing before, and they feel like all they can do is be at home with the baby. But actually, there's many things that a mother can do. And there's so many opportunities available for them, such as play groups, baby groups, Islamic classes or religious classes that are catered for mums with babies. There are so many opportunities out there, and you need to encourage your wife to go out and find those opportunities. She's going to feel like she's all alone, that maybe her friends don't have babies. They don't know how she feels. Maybe she doesn't have other relatives around her in the immediate vicinity. You're going to have to go out your way to tell your wife and show your wife these opportunities so that she can take those on board and she can start to build a new environment and a new routine around her being in this role as a mother and her being this carer and mother to the baby. Now, the last thing I'd say about going back to work is trying to figure out what your routine will look like for the next 3 months. Now, it won't go back to the same routine that you had before. The regular exercise, the amazing diet, the amazing sleep that you might have had, that's not going to be there, okay? But what you can do is start planning around with certain time blocks. Talk with your spouse and with your wife when each of you would sleep and for how long, who's going to take the baby on what nights, and how long they will have the baby for throughout those nights. Start to talk about when you'll be able to exercise, when she can exercise, how you could potentially make that a family activity as well in order to keep the time together. Think about who's going to cook. Are you going to get some external catering for the first 3 months? Is she going to cook sometimes? Are you going to cook sometimes? So start to think about what the routine will look like for the next 3 months so that you can both get back to a level of normalcy, inshallah.